A financial analyst, Mukhtar Mohammed, joins me on the news at 7 for more on this development. Mr. Mohammed, thank you for joining us. Do you consider this a good deal?
No, it's not a good deal. For me, it has become a tax political, what I call it, tax political reform, reform. Because, again, the whole idea of the value-added tax was about consumption. And that consumption has watered down to 20%. And now we are using equality, we are using population, and those are what has been there before now, and that's what we're trying to correct. Because you have the population, you don't consume, you don't empower your people to consume. I don't have the population, I empower my people to consume, then we are now having equal value-added tax. That was the whole idea of the reform bill. For me, that bill was supposed to empower the people. I mean, force the government to empower its people to be able to consume. But now you are saying, oh, just 20% on consumption. Then another important issue of that tax bill was using tax to grow the economy, especially in a country like Nigeria, where SMEs are the key drivers and employer of labor. There was going to be a reduction in company income tax, and that will lead to expansion, that will lead to companies creating more jobs for more Nigerians. But now that has been shoved aside, that it should be left as it is, not giving room. That is, it should be left. Remember, it was advocated for a reduction, and that would have helped companies in expansion. So, for me, I think the bill is more of a political settlement. The governors seems to have their way, 50% equality, 30% derivation, and 20% consumption. It's no more the tax reform bill that we all celebrated. It's not a political settlement reform bill.
All right, Mr. Mohammed, you were talking about the distribution. Let's talk some more about that recommended distribution. What do you consider to be the implication of this to revenue drive in the country?
Well, the good thing is that we have to see how that bill can see the light of the day so that 2024 budget can be funded, because most of it was coming from that bill. But now with this current situation that they have done, we might not see that so we might be going to have more budget deficit. Because if you look at that bill now, it's all about the governors thinking about what they can get, not really what the federal government will be able to get to hold up some of these budgets. So it has watered down all its importance, especially, remember, government was looking at value-added tax as a way to get revenue also to form the budget. That is no more there. So government were also looking at ways whereby consumption will increase in some states when they are empowered. Also, that is no more there. So for me, it's the value-added tax that would have added to government revenue. It's no more there. So that means we might have challenges funding that budget.
But then, Mr. Mohammed, remember that these bills are actually still before the National Assembly. So would it be correct, as you've put it, to call it political reform bills?
Well, it's in the National Assembly. You and I know what the governors are even more powerful than the National Assembly members. Remember, this governors forum called that that bill should be withdrawn from the National Assembly. And so you see that as far as they are concerned, they are in charge. So they've taken a decision. So they have to pass it to the National Assembly. Remember, most of the members of the National Assembly were being put there by the governors of their states. So they will play their scorecard, and I mean, they will dance to the tune of their governors. So there's nothing so special about it going to the National Assembly. So it's going to be a political settlement. I can assure you, the governors will be calling their National Assembly members now to be telling them this is what we have agreed and this is what you people should stand for. Remember that this bill was largely opposed by the northern region and not really by other parts of Nigeria. So, and they have the numbers in the National Assembly. So the governors will be calling them to say, look, finally we have had this deal. Make sure that this good we pass through. But I like one thing, it comes as a recommendation. So there's still room for negotiation. I think the president should just not allow it go like that. I think the president should involve them. Let's see how they can negotiate, and so that we can get the value of this bill. The value of this bill for me is all about empowering of the people, expansion of business, provision of employment, and also revenue for government to build more infrastructure that will create more growth in the economy. As it stands now, it's more or less like the bottle federalism that we've always practiced. So you don't bring anything to the table, you get 50%. You don't consume because of your population. I mean, it's only in Nigeria you see such things.
Financial analyst Mukhtar Mohammed, thank you for your time on TVC News at 7.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.